Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here, and today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. Hope you're doing well. We're filming this live right now, so if you have questions, please ask us. We love getting questions about scrap, whether it's what I think is going to happen to the markets or where the markets are today or how to make money on something. I don't care what it is, send them at us. We'll answer those hopefully as quickly as we can. And if we don't get them during the live feed, we'll answer them afterwards, or we'll answer on the bottom of one of the videos that we post out there. So we're less than a week away from the election. Thanks be to God. And I really hope a week from now, we know who the winner is. We don't have to, do recounts and looking back and forth. And we just know Congress, House, presidency, and we can move forward. That's what we're looking for, because what we're looking for right now is direction. What's going to happen directionally with the markets. And next week, I'll have a couple, thoughts on what's going to happen depending on which candidate wins. Not putting my vote in there, just saying what could happen as a hypothetical if a Democrat wins, what happens with the markets hypothetically if a Republican wins. So we're just going to talk about that next week and see what happens. So what's happened in the last week? And let's just kind of jump right into, overall markets. A lot of stable prices, but not a lot of growth. Now, if you look, we've seen copper prices down less than 1% week over week. Every day we're seeing very minimal market movement. Now, you know me by now. I like stability. I like seeing these prices at a level that are relatively flatlined. It gives us the ability to have our profits from a scrapyard side, and it allows you to know what you're going to be getting when it comes to a scrapper side. Now, you can see our 45-day averages are down, and that's because copper is down over that time period. But week to week, we have seen relatively flatline numbers. Now, I'll give you some more thoughts in the next few weeks as the president is elected and we start to figure out where the policies are going to be going. And then that'll kind of lead into some future copper predictions. But as of this point, I hear that we could see copper, kind of going down regardless of what happens going through the end of the year. So I still am continuing to recommend selling all copper, including Bear Bright. I'm selling things every day. We have a 2 to 3 day turnover at our scrapyard. So unless you're holding on to a large amount and you're waiting for, that rainy day fund, now's a good time to do it. We're going into November and December. Of course, everyone needs holiday money, but I would probably go and kind of cash it in now. I'm not a hold and wait guy. So that's my best advice when it comes to those copper markets. But if you don't know what you got, you can always report your prices, check out other people's prices. And when you go to the price page on iScrap, and you click on one of these metals, it shows you when people, put their prices out there. So you look on any one of these current metal prices, you'll see some prices that have been put out there. Rockley Recycling is at 380 right now when it comes to Bear Bright. But then you can click on these profiles for these metals and start to track them and see what's going on. Just makes it, pretty simple. Now, we did unfortunately see steel prices drop again. And, I don't have a lot of good news when it comes to steel prices. Next week, when we go over, even the election cycle, I don't see a lot of good stuff happening for steel. I don't see positive growth. I see growth inside of the United States, but it's not in that infrastructure building type of a way that's going to lead to long-term, price increases. And I'm looking for increases of 50% right now. That would be a minimum that would get me excited. If you tell me, an average light iron price is 140 a ton and we're going to see 160 a ton in the next few months, that doesn't excite me. I'm looking for 140 to go to 210. So I don't see that swing happening. And I mentioned last week, there's a project in Saudi Arabia where they're going to be putting together this humongous, I think it was called the Gnome. So that might be something that we're looking for, a large amount of steel being used for. But again, that's the export market. So if a project like that takes place, and I forget what the amount of steel is, I believe that in the article it talked about needing 25% of the world's steel during construction of this project. Now, if that's a real number, 25% of the world's steel will immediately drive the markets up. Because what's going to happen is in the United States, that export market that could be going to India or Turkey with those scrap ships full of steel, or from the West Coast, wherever it's coming from, those are going to be increased in price because now you're going to start to have huge purchase orders coming. So that could be a good thing for prices domestically and on the export market. And I do believe that the export market is going to pull the domestic market forward. And what do I mean by that? If these countries, India, Saudi Arabia, right? If those are the two that I look at, maybe some areas of South Africa, if I start to see those having huge industrial growths with large amounts of steel being purchased and refined for build outs, that's going to mean that the export market is going to push prices up. That's going to mean that the domestic consumers of steel inside of the United States are going to have to follow, because now they're going to have to start bidding and competing on that steel going out of the country. So that would be a great sign. And paired with that, energy is going to be interesting to see, because we don't know where the energy prices are going to be going. Those will affect the transportation costs, which will, of course, affect the steel prices as well. So, I see iron ore. I'm looking here on Business Insider, week over week, iron ore down 0.08%. So what does that show you? Flatline numbers. I talked to 3 different guys on a New Jersey ports that ship steel out. They're seeing no huge orders coming in, no big signs of demand. So again, something else that we're looking out for. We've seen fuel costs drop in the last few months. I personally think that's more of an election play, where current administration was trying to get those fuel costs down so people don't get as upset about the economy. And I'll talk about, I think that if the current administration kind of continues and Democrats win the election, I don't expect fuel prices to go down. I do expect a 50 cent to $1 per gallon increase. That's going to hurt transportation. That's going to hurt pricing. And I'll talk about that, hopefully, next week or whenever else we see what happens with the election. Actually, I hope we don't see, gas prices going up. That's a bad thing. We don't want that, regardless of who wins. Aluminum up 3.5% week over week. Awesome. We've seen sheet aluminum prices, some solid numbers like 47, 53 cents per pound. Those are some great numbers. And that's just not like East Coast, West Coast. We're seeing those kind of migrate into the middle of the country. So awesome to see those numbers out there right now. Aluminum is such a great metal because it's such a great recycled metal to be able to hold. It's a great metal for infrastructure, for cars, for electronics. It's really just such a multifunctional metal that it really should be a positive sign moving forward, because I believe that this year we really saw strong growth on the aluminum side of things. And I was really happy to see that. Now, other things that we've been looking at, well, let's talk about catalytic converters, because it's been a while since we had some good news about catalytic converters. But we read an article this week on mining.com, and it talked about palladium. And palladium prices spiked almost 10% amid reports of the Biden administration proposed sanctions on Russian palladium exports. Now, that's one of the reasons that the metals went up. Another reason that went up, a lot of things were trending towards Republicans winning the election. And if that happens, we could start to see some EV mandates pulling back. But this palladium price was certainly a nice increase, biggest that we've seen in a long time. Palladium was trading over $1,200 an ounce. And we started to see those average OEM catalytic converter prices jumping into the $73 to $75 range. So super, super awesome. Pumped about that. So another article coming out of Metal Miner talking about nickel prices. Now, you have seen for months, what is the one metal I keep telling you to hold? Stainless steel. And stainless steel prices are not doing anything. And you can see this article, nickel surges past 18,000. Is stainless steel rebound on the horizon? The answer is no, it just isn't. Even if this article says maybe it could be, nickel prices going up. Nickel's different than stainless. Nickel goes into stainless steel. Stainless steel has nickel. iron married together in a big pot, and it pops out, stainless steel. So there's a demand for pure nickel, right? Because that's different. Now you have stainless steel that's now merged nickel and iron, another process in there to separate it if it's going to happen at all. So we don't see there's no industries that are using stainless, right? Unless everyone starts buying Cybertrucks and you see the Cybertruck sales going crazy. What new thing is out there that uses stainless? It's rarely being used in electronics because it's 2 to 3 times heavier than aluminum. We actually have a video dropping about that soon, talking about just differences between aluminum and stainless. It's not being used in most autos. I joke about the Cybertruck, but that's a one-off. There's not other vehicles that are using it. Military aircrafts, they're not using stainless steel. They want lighter grades of material. So not a lot of good when it comes to stainless. I continue to recommend holding it. I just don't see a lot of upside on it. I really don't. I can't hold it. I wish I could. I don't have enough space here. I can't stack dumpsters, and I don't have like a baler that allows me to bale stainless and stack it up. So I'm selling it as I get it, right? But my profit margin is very, very close because the prices are just so poo-poo. 304 stainless, 27.32 cents a pound is kind of a good number. You're not seeing market movement right now out there, scrappers. So I just don't see that happening. But what we have seen is gold prices continuing to hit like record highs almost every single day. Gold is currently up 0.29% week over week. We're looking at a $2,756 per ounce number. How's that going to translate into e-scrap? I don't see e-scrap prices having a huge increase, even with gold rising so much this year, because when you look at e-scrap, it's such a small percentage of gold. You're just not getting a lot out of there. There's more copper, there's more aluminum, sometimes there's more steel, and there's obviously going to be more plastic from the boards themselves and other connectors such as silver. So gold prices are great. They're more of a protection right now against maybe inflation or some economic worries in the markets, even though the stock markets have been strong. So if you're looking, should I hold on to my electronics as gold might go to 3,000 an ounce? I don't know what to tell you. Your high-grade memory and stuff like that, maybe. But you could even sell that. We have a new process over at Rockway Recycling. We're purchasing e-scrap such as memory and CPU chips, through the mail, where most scrapyards don't buy this stuff. So if you have questions about it, please let us know. We'll be able to give you some feedback on, prices for memory, prices for CPU chips. But I don't see anything crazy. But we did get a couple of questions that we had last week, so I'd like to get into those if we don't have any any live ones yet. Are there any predictable price fluctuations seasonally that can help give you time to sell material? So this is a heavy question. I would have said 20 years ago, yes, because fuel was more of a factor when it came to prices, going into the fall and the winter. More oils consumed for heating. Going into the summer, gasoline's consumed for consumption for consumers. But that's kind of erased itself. I don't see a schedule or any type of predictions that I could give you anymore. There used to be a solid up and down number. You could see it year over year, kind of when you lay those charts over each other. Right now, I don't see it happening. So I have to say the answer is no. My best idea is continue to tune in every week. Check out our videos. Check out some of the reported prices. Second question we got. We were asked in our most recent Rambus video, someone mentioned we were using FB-DIMM. From a scrap perspective, is there a difference, or would it only matter if reselling? So it goes to the second half. It only matters if you're reselling. When we're quoting and buying Rambus or regular memory, we're just doing it for the metals that are on it. We're not retesters. We're not reselling. We're not a computer company. So it could be on there, and I'm not smart enough to tell you exactly what it would be for, because I'm not a guy that builds computers. So from a scrap point of view, we're just kind of looking at things status quo right now. Overall, catalytic converters, like I said, are up. Stainless, poo-poo. Steel's going okay. Brass prices have been pretty strong. We saw a little bit of a price uplift when it came to zinc, which goes into those brass prices, so that's great. But we're just sitting here, banging that drum for the next 6 days, waiting for that election to be over. And hopefully a week from now, we have better market predictions and a forward outlook. So, get out there and vote. If you don't vote, your voice can't be heard. And hopefully that's something that you're out there doing. Continue to ask us questions, give us ideas for videos. We continue to have new videos dropping every single week. And until next week, scrappers, don't forget, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you're alerted when we do our shorts, when we do our weekly reports, when we just drop regular videos. We make these videos to help you learn how to make more money with your scrap. Really that simple. So my name is Tom. Today is Wednesday, October 30th. Happy Halloween to all of you that are going trick-or-treating tomorrow. I can't believe November is already here. So hopefully everyone's doing well. Until next week, I'm Tom, and I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.